Thank God for jury duty.
We are Graveside Breakfast.
Corners of my field of vision. Oh, I'm flying. Never ever ever say a bomb at the airport. Never ever ever say a bomb on an airplane. Never ever ever say a bomb to an air marshal. You have a butt, and it's to you. Never ever take a nail file on an airplane. Never ever take a nail file to the airport.
Not only do I like to make costumes and wear costumes, I like to make costumes and cartoon characters. And not just cartoon characters, even though I'm an adult, you know, and I tend to often wear costumes of boy characters. So, you know, it's called crossplay. So yeah, I'm a cross player. I'm sorry. Anything else weird? What did I do anything weird? I like to eat my French fries with mayonnaise. That's weird. I don't know. My whole life is weird. I don't know. What's normal?
I was born this way.
There you go. Yeah, see? Born this way, I can't help it. I've grown up into a child. Who knows? There's gotta be some. Oh. We reworked the Beatles song, All You Need Is Love, and rewrote it so that, you know, it's about God and Jesus, and Jesus is love. And when we were working on the part when you go, all you need is love, they were trying to teach it to the person playing our keyboard. And the way that we were helping her remember it was by saying big banana. So it's like, and so we were saying, all you need is love, big banana. And then for the later part it was drink a daiquiri. So that was interesting and entertaining. And I don't know, the fun part about our praise band, I guess, it's a common thing, and it's kind of something a lot of people probably wouldn't like, but, you know, it's just kind of how we work. Is our leader, our associate minister, when he plays music, especially on Sundays, he tends to speed up as he goes. Like, he starts a song, sometimes he starts way too fast, or he'll start way too slow, and then as he plays, it's just a very not but so gradual. It's constantly ramping up the speed, so it's kind of always interesting to try to stay with him and keep the band together around him, but we always manage, so it's kind of fun. But it's one of those things that we just kind of, is our little quirk, I guess. Gosh, we always have weird things happen. Oh, we started calling ourselves the Spit Chokers, because I think one night everybody started coughing on their spit while singing. We have weird times.
About the light that comes on.
Oh yes, up where we play, we call it the Island. We're up in an old choir loft, and the ceiling is low, and there are a bunch of lights that kind of go up along the top. And in the far corner, there's a light that likes to go on and off, and we've named it the Gremlin. And you know, generally, you know, completely harmless. It's a friendly gremlin that's sitting there just getting our attention. And quite often, it comes on and off at like really good times during a sermon. Very interesting. But then for a while there, we actually had in a different spot in the same area, the opposite side, there was a baby gremlin. It was going on and off and on too. That one went away, so it was interesting.
I ask you so, you can search your soul, and you might even find that thing to make you whole. No one knows they'll ever wake up tomorrow, so the best thing you can do is live each day like it's the last. Everything you've ever dreamed and hoped and planned for, but I'll start working on it right now, 'cause life goes by too fast. Just sit out and watch, 'cause life's too short. Get in there and take some punches. It's not a spectator sport. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty now and then. Each day is a gift from God you'll never see again. He's gonna wait for you to go back to yesterday. The only way to live this life is to keep living it today. Sometimes might hurt yourself, but sometimes others too. So make amends and keep on going and keep doing what you do. Let me see. I often
often liked to talk in an announcer voice like in the movies. Until now, in a world where stuff. I like to do that. I sometimes do a SpongeBob voice, but I don't think I can really pull it off right now, so I'm going to try. I like My Little Pony. Friendship is Magic, the new one, because it's very well written and Lauren Faust is a genius. I also like Ruby Gloom, and a lot of people probably have forgotten about her, but she's cool. I like rocks that squish, because, it's not a real rock. I like working on cars. I don't really like working on cars, kind of have to. But I haven't had to lately. I don't know. What's weird about me that I don't normally admit to people that I'm going to put on live on national television? Something that's family friendly I can talk about. I don't know, besides My Little Pony thing, I don't know what's left.
You like chick flicks?
I do like chick flicks, yes. I once upon a time saw Hope Floats, and I saw The Object of My Affection, and I kind of like those. I'm trying to think, what other chick flick or chick flick-like thing have I seen recently that I liked? I don't know. But I do like chick flicks. I haven't watched one recently. I like Twilight. I love all the Twilight books. And I think Stephanie Meyer is underrated. And a lot of people are like, oh, she wrote You Are My Drug. Yeah, that's one line out of her book. Well, Stephanie Meyer is actually not that bad. She's like, well, she writes like a 17-year-old girl. Yeah, she's writing from the perspective of a 17-year-old girl. Hello. The movies, they're all right. Of course, they condense a lot of things, leave a lot of things out. But I like Twilight, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. And I'm heterosexual. Go figure. So yeah, I like Twilight. But I also like Harry Potter. So, I like to go when I can't think of stuff. I like to program in Python. I like to program in PHP, but given my druthers, I'd focus more on Python because I think I like it better. The PHP is easier, if that makes any sense to anyone other than geeks. I don't know what else. What else weird stuff about me other than the fact that I just am who I am. I don't know. You got any ideas? I'm trying to think of something I've done recently.
You like to talk upside down.
Do you like to talk upside down? Hello,
Don't go back.
draw a cab. God, yeah.
Go to your right. There you go. There you go.
I like to talk upside down. There is that. Let's draw a cab. There's no mistake in our love. Please don't drive a stake through my heart. With the strength of a werewolf, no one can ever hope to tear us apart. Crawling through the night, hiding in the shadows, waiting for you. It's easier to stop a train than it is to stop me from seeing you. I'm gonna sink my fangs right into your neck until you swoon. I'll carry you away and see you on the dark side of the moon. Bloodsuckers need love too. I'm gonna drink you all night long. Early on, the earliest influence was probably Steppenwolf back when I was about 20. Steppenwolf was big in the 1960s. No, I'm not that old. Steppenwolf and Led Zeppelin and ZZ Top and Aerosmith were some of my earliest influences because I used to listen to what was called classic rock even back then. Now it's classic rock is the stuff that was new when I was growing up. Didn't really listen to a lot of hair metal, a lot of 80s stuff, Twisted Sister, stuff like that until after it kind of passed in popularity. The blood is rushing to my head and everything sounds funny. But I did like when grunge came along. I liked Nirvana and I liked Pearl Jam and all that kind of the typical grunge, alternative. Is the word, this big buzzword. And then Nine Inch Nails. I was hugely into Nine Inch Nails. I'm kind of not really into Nine Inch Nails anymore, especially because of just kind of the message that Trent Reznor does. politically and religiously, or whatever, if that's a word. It's hard for me to form coherent sentences and words now with my head upside down like this. So not really, but the influence is still there. The influence, the sound of that Trent Reznor crafted with Nine Inch Nails, and of course, KMFDM was another big influence for me. So I like the guitars and the industrial sound all kind of meshed together. The kind of pounding, grinding noise kind of thing with the heart-wrenching angst of the alternative, and then the hard rock of the 70s and whatever. I just kind of mashed all this. So that's my influences basically are like grunge and then industrial. And then, of course, more recently, what all them kids are listening to, that dubsteps. I love dubstep. Oh, I just like slather dubstep all over me and just wallow in it. There's one freer thing to admit that I'm over 30 and I love dubstep. I love Skrillex. No, that's the first thing. Oh, that's not really dubstep. I think Skrillex and dubstep. No, Skrillex, as I like to say, is my gateway drug. I realize Skrillex is dubstep, but a lot of people say he's not, or whatever. Whatever. Skrillex was the gateway drug, and then Claypex, Knife Party, Nero, not so much. Who's the one I've really just started listening to? Oh, Savant. Oh, I love Savant. Now, kind of sort of related, Cell Dweller. Just recently discovered Cell Dweller. Kind of reminds me more of like the older industrial stuff, but with dubstep elements, and that's what I've been listening to a lot of lately. But Cell Dweller and Savant and I'm trying to think of Bass Nectar. I love Bass Nectar. I haven't listened to Bass Nectar in a while. Seven Lions. I think he's out of Burbank. Guy out of California. Goes by Seven Lions. Good stuff. Trying to think of what other dubstep artists I like. Can't think of any at the moment. Oh, I like a lot of the hardcore, post-hardcore emo, if you want to call it that. You know, like Pierce the Veil, Day to Remember. Who have I been listening to more of it? I like the Used. They're not really emo hardcore though. I don't know. Maybe they are, but I like the Used. So yeah, influence is kind of all over the place. A little bit of country, a little bit of hip hop here and there, but mostly that list I just rattled off before I started to pass out because of the blood going to my head and stuff.
We can come back up though.
I can? I don't think I can.
Losing time, this is the end for me. Bones crushed.
The other thing is interesting about me, at least when I play drums, is the type of music that I end up playing innately and naturally is not really the music I listen to. And the praise band music was not something before I listened to. Now, yeah, I've grown an interest to it and kind of we'll tweak it to match our sound. But for me, I don't know. My favorite drummers tend to be Keith Moon of The Who, a dude named Ruka, who's a Japanese guy in a band called Nightmare. He's definitely my second favorite right now. Into some of the classics. I can't even think of names right now. Wow, it's bad. But I don't know. A lot of your pretty standard drummers. But again, I mean, I would never even hope to be able to play like Keith Moon. You know, Animal from the Muppets was basically based on Keith Moon and his crazy antics. So that kind of gives you an idea of. Yeah, he played the way he acted. I can't quite get there. And Ruka's very good, even though he hates playing drums, which I always thought was interesting. But for me, I guess I've just grown up on a lot of classic rock and oldies, as it was when I was growing up, which was 50s, 60s, early 70s. Listened to a lot of The Who, Stones, Beatles. I love Motown, Temptations, Four Tops, and stuff like that. Listen to a little bit of jazz, a little bit of blues. Listen to a lot of quote-unquote J-rock and J-pop these days. I don't know, just different things seem to suit me and kind of influence me, and that's kind of where I go. But yeah, I'm just all over the map that way.
The first song's called Present Tense.
Change anything, or would you still do it all the same?
grown up my entire life in a church. Went to the same church about 16 years before I kind of fell away from it. It just got to, you can always say it's, the classic boring, stuff like that. But for me, actually, in our church, it became a lot of political divides over the ministers and other things that were happening in groups that we had in the church, nursery school, older senior groups, stuff like that. And it was just so divisive, and it just wasn't a loving, friendly family atmosphere anymore. And that's a lot of what I feel like drove me away from it. It wasn't what I was looking for. But I felt like on my own I was able to kind of still grow spiritually, go to other people's churches from time to time, but nothing ever quite meshed with me and made me really want to be there when I felt like I could be at home and praise in my own way. But in more recent years, actually comes back to the praise band and music. They were trying to put the praise band together, and they actually asked me to come and teach someone they wanted to get to play drums for them who had never played, and just kind of help them get started. Well, it turns out he had absolutely no interest, and he'd been pushed into playing drums. So when I showed up, it was like, oh, can you play drums for us? So, sure, why not? My boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, played guitar and sings, writes his own music, and he hadn't been able to really do anything musically in a lot of years. There's no time. So I figured why not as an opportunity for him to come back to music a little bit. Plus, we'd never had an opportunity to actually play together. So we were looking at that as an option, and we started doing that, and we found this church that we both say now, it's a family. It's a very loving atmosphere, it's very accepting. Some people may not always see exactly eye to eye, but everybody's always polite to each other. And you always have the politics that you always have in a church, but we don't have quite the infighting and the divisiveness. And whenever something happens, it usually gets settled very easily. And I don't know, just everybody gets along with everybody, you don't have the cliques. So for us, that just kind of, I think it may not even be that our church is better than other churches, but it may just be you have to find the right church for you. Where you are now, if you're unhappy or bored, you feel like there's a lot of divide, it's always worth going and kind of checking out other places, either other denominations, depending on what your faith is, just to see, maybe there's something out there that actually meshes and speaks to your soul better. And I think that's the most important thing, to find the one that fits you, speaks to your soul, and makes sense. I think that's what's going to lead you to Jesus, and that's what's going to make you whole and happy in life.
Do you think for like non-Christian?
Okay. Non-Christians, okay. You've always talked about evangelism. I'm not one of those people that likes to go out and try to just go up to random people and say, hey, you don't go to church, you're a sinner, and you need to go to church. I never felt that was my place, per se. Now, if somebody is showing interest, and they just want to know what, Jesus is about, or, just want to kind of experience what our church is about, and then I'm more than willing to share and invite them in and kind of express it upon them. But I feel like if you just push it out on people that it's not what they're looking for at the time, you're just going to drive them away instead of having them open their hearts and find Jesus and love and everything that can come with a good church. For people, that don't go to church, if you're someone who does believe in Jesus and you're finding something that works for you, more power to you, but always keep your mind open, because there may be a church out there, because there's probably other people who feel the way you do in your age group and other age groups. Our praise band goes up to, I think the oldest person's probably in their 70s, and the youngest person right now, I guess is me, so it would be in 30s. So, we have a pretty wide range. We have a very wide range of musical tastes, yet we mesh very well. So, you may find other people out there have exactly the same feelings you do, and you may find a church, maybe not a conventional church. They have a lot of these startup churches now that meet, in malls and movie theaters, and community centers and other stuff, and they may be more towards you and focusing on praise without the boring churchy parts. Always keep your minds open and kind of go to different places. If you're not a Christian and you maybe just curious what this is all about, or it's never really spoken to you, again, it may always be worth keeping your mind open, listening to music, listening to sermons, just talking to people, just to kind of share your experiences and see what their experiences are in their faith, what brought them to Jesus, what brought them to the church, and where they are in their lives. Maybe that would give you some inspiration, or maybe it's not right for you at the time. I hope one day you'll find it if that's what you need to do.
The reason that I ask you so is you need such a soul that you might even just find that thing you need to make you whole. No one can know if they'll ever wake up tomorrow, so the best thing we can do is live each day like it's the last. Everything you've ever hoped and dreamed and planned for, better start working on it right now, 'cause life goes by too fast.
Yes, one of the, let's see, when we got married, we'd been in the praise band for several years, so that was kind of, part of our thing with our church. We just joined it that year. And one of the things I said is that, we're going to get married here, but the praise band must play at our wedding. Well, the reception. So we decided that we were going to make that happen. Praise band was awesome. We made that work together. Main reasons I just point out, I guess, just to point it out if I can. My in-laws, my father-in-law is in his 80s. He can't really get up and get around very well anymore, so he doesn't get out of the house. And of course, my mother-in-law has to stay home and take care of him, so they never really would be able to make it out to church to see us play in the praise band. Plus a few other family members that have their own churches and would never be able to really come see what we're doing, what we're about. So I'm thinking, got all these people together in our church, great opportunity to share it. So during the reception, after the meal, we all kind of got together. My husband still in his tux, me still in the full wedding dress. Got up on the stage and we played our praise band songs. So got me behind, I'm trying to think, might have been this drum set. I think it was the Little Blue set. Anyway, me behind a drum set in my wedding dress, and it was just as much fun as anything. And everybody was like, "How are you gonna make that work?" But God is miraculous and things always work. So it came together and it was a lot of fun and very memorable. And I think that was the perfect, part of our wedding ceremony and the entire celebration, because that was where my husband and me came together, found a church, found a family besides our actual blood family.
Do you like playing drums in your wedding dress?
Yes, playing drums in a wedding dress is a lot of fun. You should try it sometime. Okay. So, to get through life, your focus needs to be on living each day to the fullest, loving everyone around you, love like you've never been hurt. Don't let the world's pressures bring you down. Just continue to express your love. And the love we get from God is, eternal, forgiving. It's always there, and we can always share so much of it. And to make sure that you spend every precious moment that you can with those that you love, but also to make sure you do the things that you feel like you are inspired to do, the things you want to do. Just don't waste any precious moments. Just make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them. Just get out there and live life to the fullest and make Jesus proud. Al and Z, and keep the faith.
Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty now and then. Each day is a different God you'll never ever see again. There is nowhere for you to go back to yesterday. The only way to live this life is to keep living it today. Sometimes you might hurt yourself, and sometimes others too. So make amends and keep on going, and keep doing what you do. 'Cause no one can know if they'll ever wake up tomorrow. So the best thing we can do is live each day like it's the last.
Do I have any closing statements? Every day is, okay, everybody says that. Every day is precious. Well, it is, Of course everybody says that because it's true. Every day is precious, seize the day and all that. So don't put off today. Don't put off doing what you want to do with your life in the name of doing it for somebody else, unless you've got really somebody to take care of. Okay, you can edit all that out. Closing statements. Be kind to your neighbor. Take care of yourself and take care of your neighbors. And by your neighbors, that means the people that are in the house with you and in the houses next to you and down the street from you and in the next city over and in the next state over or province over or prefecture over and then to the next country, because we are all each other's neighbors. And anything you can do to, as I said before, reduce the amount of suffering in the world even by 1 iota is worth doing. And otherwise, follow your heart and be true to yourself. Don't change yourself to please anyone else, but if you see an aspect of yourself that you believe needs changing for the better, then change that, but don't bow to pressure in the face of doing something to please someone else that you know is wrong when you know what you should be doing is right. If that makes sense. To thine own self be true. I think some guy named Will said that. Will Shake something. And otherwise, surf wisely.
Was a time of darkness and deepest sorrow. They thought the king was finally gone. The very ones who had walked right beside the Savior were looking for the strength to carry on. But after 3 days waiting, the truth was now revealed. The pain they carried in their hearts would soon be healed. The brilliant ray of light that shone on us that day. The way, the life, the gift that showed us that we may live for all eternity and never die. When we stand above the Most High. Magdalene asked where they took his body. She beheld a man in white. When she recognized him, she cried out, Rabboni. Then the sun vanquished the night. And then Thomas doubted, but not for long. And the apostles and disciples all broke out in song.